Hi, everyone. Welcome to Gratitude Tuesday here at Capital Recovery Center. I am a recovery coach. Today, we are going to be talking about how gratitude can transform your mental health. This article comes from Forbes.com, and it starts out by saying, jotting every little thing you're thankful for into a gratitude journal may feel a little woo-hoo, but there are some science-supported health benefits to acknowledging your appreciation for whatever it is you find meaningful in your life, whether that's a delicious sandwich or a healthy bond with a loved one. But what exactly is gratitude? Keep reading to explore what it means to be grateful, plus research-backed connections between gratitude and mental health, tips for practicing gratitude, and what to do when gratitude doesn't feel like enough on its own. So the first thing that we're going to talk about is what is gratitude. And I picked this one today with the mental health, because we have a new meeting now, if you're not aware, called Freedom Fridays, and it focuses on the dual aspects of recovery and mental health. So I figured this will be a good one to play off of that. It says, what is gratitude? While it can look a little different from one person to another, gratitude is generally defined as a disposition or characteristic that allows an individual to perceive and appreciate the positive and meaningful aspects of life. Gratitude can also be described as an emotion of thankfulness and recognition. Says Danny Moyer, a licensed marriage and family therapist. So how do you know if you're grateful for something? According to Dr. Moy, that when you're feeling grateful for something, we handle that particular part of our life with care, attentiveness, and consciousness. It's true, because when we are grateful to have something in our lives, it's something that we don't take advantage of. It's something that we don't abuse or misuse. I always use like the example of a car. You might be driving around something that is just oh, this doesn't work. It doesn't look nice. It just gets you from point A to point B. But think about the people who are riding a bike. And then the people riding a bike, think about the people who are walking. It kind of starts to put things in perspective for you. So gratitude can also be described as an emotion of thankfulness and recognition. So how do you know if you're grateful for something? According to Dr. Moy, when we're feeling grateful, read that already. Another way to think about gratitude is that it often elicits warm, positive emotions, including happiness, love, and joy, explains Nathan Brandon, a licensed clinical psychologist. It's the opposite of feelings like resentment, envy, and regret. If you tend to be a grateful person, you may also be more generous and compassionate towards others. And when we come into recovery, we are full of, anger, resentment, regret. All of those feelings are a lot of what we have to work through. And having a positive attitude of gratitude can make it a little bit easier to get out of that negative thinking and work through those resentments, try and turn the anger into something positive. So this says that there's 5 mental health benefits of gratitude. While several studies link gratitude to enhance physical health, reduce stress, a stronger immune system, improve sleep quality, and lower blood pressure, to name a few benefits, practicing gratitude can also improve mental health in some pretty meaningful ways. The first one is gratitude can help regulate your emotions. Research suggests gratitude plays a role in a person's ability to identify and regulate emotions, with some studies pointing to a possible relationship between gratitude and emotional intelligence. And when we're talking about emotional intelligence, it's being aware of what you're feeling, why you're feeling that, being self-aware. And, having that sense of gratitude can, help you improve on those things as well. It says, when we focus our attention on the good in our lives, the components that are making us feel sad or worried are minimized. This perspective can give us a sense of emotional freedom and serenity, regardless of what we face. It can go a really long way in overcoming situations that prior may have felt hopeless. I know a lot of us, myself, when I came into recovery, you know, I hated myself. I hated the world. I was angry at the mess I had made and the way I had treated people. And, you know, you get stuck in just this, this attitude that like you were a bad person or you aren't deserving of this, or, you know, all these different things that are going to bring you down. But when we start to, you know, change that perspective and start to regulate those emotions and like learn why we're feeling them, what's causing them, how do we move forward from them, it goes a long way in helping your recovery, you know, continue and, you know, wanting to see like a better way of life for yourself. The next one is about how gratitude can elevate your mindset. When someone feels grateful, which can be described as a positive emotion in itself, research shows they tend to experience more positive feelings overall. Some studies also find that building gratitude practices into psychotherapy sessions can actually help promote a positive cognitive mindset because the focus shifts from negative experiences to more positive ones. And that's like for me, that's like the main reason to practice gratitude, because negative thinking is so prominent in active addiction and in early recovery. Because like I said, you put yourself through these terrible things, you've dealt with these terrible things, you put others through it, and it just seems like nothing's ever going to get better. And by practicing the gratitude, it helps to like start to get away from those negative thoughts, and to help you overcome negative situations in the future where things that prior may have felt like the end of the world, or, you know, we're great for making mountains out of molehills. You can much easier navigate through all of that without it turning into like a pity party or like the end of the world and making you feel like there's no way out of it. There's always a way out of it. So reaping the benefits of thinking positively can take time. But with practice, the pursuit of happiness can be a worthwhile and effective one. As we develop a relationship with gratitude, it becomes easier to reframe our thinking in difficult moments of life. So just think of something difficult situation that you have been through and how you reacted to it. And then like kind of think of like, well, maybe if I had been, you know, appreciative of this, it would have been easier to get through this. You know, like I've had several situations when coming into recovery, and still life shows up. Something is always going to be going on. And it's really about how we deal with all of that makes the big difference. So, you know, like I talk a lot about how when I first got clean, I was sleeping on my mom's couch and I hated myself. I was embarrassed. I felt less than. You know, I hadn't lived with my mom since I was a teenager, and like to be reduced to that from going from my own home to now sleeping on my mother's couch, it put me in a very depressed state, and like feeling worthless. But in retrospect, and thankfully, as I started to move on and understand why I was there, what caused me to be there, and how to make a better situation of it, you know, I started to be grateful that like I had a couch to sleep on in a warm house. I had somewhere to take a shower and eat. There are many people that don't have that. And, you know, when I was in active addiction, I was, again, bouncing, went to a family's house. I would go to the boyfriend's house. I didn't have a home of my own then either. So at least I was, you know, I didn't have a home of my own at the time either, but I was clean. And the opportunity to grow was there, where before it was not. So it's really a matter of realizing things like that to make the best of it. And it can also be a great motivator. So next one talks about how gratitude can help you feel more connected to others. Gratitude may help people feel more connected to others in the world around them, which can lead to increased happiness and decreased loneliness. Research backs that point. with studies finding that gratitude can help promote emotional closeness and the maintenance of strong bonds in intimate and non-intimate relationships. Additional studies suggest the expression of gratitude and the coinciding ability to strengthen social bonds may help reduce feelings of loneliness and disconnectedness. And that's very true. If you are someone that, self-isolated in active addiction, like many of us did, it can be very difficult to make connections with other people and to create new friendships or relationships or repair old ones. We're so used to just being in this little bubble that, it can be overwhelming. But having that positive, grateful attitude can make it easier to become more connected with people. It's a great way to help repair relationships, because now, if you're anything like me, I made so many promises in my active addiction. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm sorry. Give me another chance. I promise I won't do it again. Over and over and over again, I would make these empty promises to my family, my children, whoever. And time again, I broke them. So when coming into recovery, it was about not telling them, how sorry I am, or how much I want to change, or how I'm going to make things better. It was more of the fact that I am doing it. So it's showing them that you care enough to make those changes, to rebuild those relationships. Not only that you care enough about them, but you care enough about yourself. Because if you were like me, I really didn't care about myself anymore. So, being grateful that you still have them in your life, show them that. Show them that you're grateful for them, that they stood by you. If you have that one person. If you don't, there is a giant world of recovery out there with people who are ready to help you create those relationships. Whether it be a 12-step meeting, you can come here and talk with us, build relationships with one of our recovery coaches. If you to go to church, you can build relationships with the people there. It's all about, finding who you connect with and making them a positive and full relationship instead of a lot of the superficial fake relationships that we had in addiction. So we're going to go on to talk about gratitude can motivate you towards better outcomes. When you're grateful for something, that attitude is often reflected by and aligned with your outcomes. For example, when we hold gratitude for our endurance, it will be reflected in our eating habits and physical activity. Research suggests gratitude exercises may, in fact, lead to more positive outcomes. Not only can they encourage health-promoting behaviors like eating healthier, but they've also been found to inspire pro-social behavior, helping others. As an added benefit, Dr. Brandon says pro-social behavior can lead to increased social support, friends and acquaintances who are available and able to help you, which is another factor linked to improve mental health. And so kind of like I said earlier, that gratitude can be a great motivator. Once you start to put some of it into practice and to see the results, it's just once you want to keep going, you want more of that. You want more of that happiness and that positivity and those, meaningful relationships. There are so many positive benefits of it. And a lot of times you don't even realize you're doing it. Sometimes we think of practicing gratitude. We actually have to write it down or make this conscious effort, but sometimes we're doing it and we don't realize it, which is a wonderful thing because that shows growth. And it shows that, you want to move forward and, continue to grow. So as it says, the connection between gratitude and improved mental health in the face of stress has been recognized by researchers for quite some time. One study found feeling more gratitude to be associated with less stress during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, a time marked by a significant uptick in stress and anxiety levels for people. Yeah, a lot of us were heavily impacted by that. And sometimes we don't realize how heavily impacted we are because of it until certain situations come up. we got away from the crowds and like, the busyness and the run, run, run. And now like sometimes we're put back in those situations and it feels overwhelming, where before, it wasn't. So those are like little after effects of that we have to work through. But being able to manage stress in general and using gratitude can do that, can be very effective. It has a great impact on like sleep and healthy eating habits and a lot of other things that stress can deteriorate. So we're going to talk about appreciate the intangible. One common form of gratitude is the feeling you get when you receive a gift from someone. But as mentioned earlier, gratitude has different meanings, and it comes down to recognizing and acknowledging your appreciation for anything that provides you value or meaning. True gratitude comes from a place of humility and doesn't require the attachment of something tangible. It's not always about what someone gives you or what they did for you. Sometimes it's just about them being there, being in your life, because, in active addiction, we destroy a lot of relationships. And, we have to earn this trust and we have to learn how to fix things. And those things you can't hold on to. You physically can't, pick up a relationship and like, all right, thanks for this, I'm going to go put it on a shelf. You have to work for it and you have to make the effort. And if you find that you're grateful for someone, it makes it a lot easier to make the effort to show them and to let them know that you see it in them. You know what I mean? If someone does something for you, letting them know that you appreciate it goes a really long way. Because a lot of times things that people do are taken for granted. And I know I took a lot of things for granted. And now like I have a better appreciation for those things in like in my new life of recovery. So do you want to honor the present moment? In an ever-moving, social media-obsessed society, it can be hard to enjoy the gift of rest and stillness, but gratitude can help. Gratitude helps us slow down our nervous system and give ourselves permission to feel joy. This is very true. A lot of us are so focused on, I want to get the best picture, I want to look the best on Snapchat, I want to have the perfect post for Instagram, that we forget to actually live in the moment. I always tell the story of my, 2 Christmases ago. No, I'm sorry. Is it 2 Christmases? Yeah. It was my granddaughter's first Christmas. And I barely took any pictures. But then I'm looking at other people's pictures, and it was because I was present in the moment. I was, playing with her and opening presents with my children and actually being involved in the moment instead of trying to document it and show it off. And that is such a good feeling for someone who, wasn't able to spend Christmas with her kids, some year. So like being appreciative of those things instead of having to focus on, who you want to impress or what, social media outlet you want to put it into. Can really improve your life and your relationships. Another thing to talk about is performing acts of kindness. Picking up litter, volunteering, or paying it forward, which could be as simple as paying for the person behind you in line for coffee, all count as acts of kindness. Those little things send ripples out. The same way that our using sent out these ripples of destruction, basically, those acts of kindness can put out positive ripples into the world. It's like the simple thing of when you walk in and out of a store, you go to Wawa, right? There's always somebody in and out of that door. Someone in front of you holds the door open for you, you thank them, you hold it open for the person behind them, they thank you. It's just this ripple effect of doing something very small and that doesn't seem like much, but can go a long way for someone, especially now that we don't have bags to carry stuff. We're all like this trying to open up the door. So having someone hold the door for you is a lot more important sometimes. And the last thing we're going to talk about is when gratitude doesn't work. For many people, especially those living with mental health conditions, practicing gratitude may feel challenging or may not seem to provide much of a benefit at all. Everyone has a different relationship with gratitude, and some find challenges with incorporating it into their lives altogether. This struggle can be due to a number of factors, from genetics to personality traits, that we at times have no control over. And that's true. This like nature and nurture. Some of us weren't raised in positive environments. You might not have, supportive parents or any family at all. I mean, honestly. And sometimes it can be harder to find those positive things in your life when you feel like you are completely alone. And again, like I said, sometimes we just don't have any control over that. So we got to put a little bit more effort into overcoming those issues. It's important to remember that gratitude is just one tool that can help improve mental health. If gratitude alone doesn't seem to be enough, it doesn't mean that person has failed. It doesn't. You are making the effort, so there's no failure there. You just might have other things that play a factor, and some of those things could be genetics, or for example, if you have a diagnosed mental health condition, the gratitude is definitely going to be a help with that, but you're going to need more, possibly medication, a therapist, just other things to help support in that. But that gratitude piece plays into it a lot and can be beneficial to you, whether sometimes you think it is or not. If constant anxieties, worries, or depressed feelings are making it difficult for you to access gratitude or other positive emotions, it may be time to speak with a mental health professional, which is exactly what I was just saying. If you still feel hopeless or lost, or that it's not working, there's no shame in asking for more help. That's what we're here for. That's what, the mental health world is out there for. Any of these things to help support you, to have some more positivity to help you move forward. While gratitude is a wonderful emotion, it's not a substitute for therapy or medication, especially if you're dealing with diagnosed situations like depression or anxiety, which is what I was just explaining. And there is no shame in getting those things to help you live a more fulfilling and happy life. So I say, try and practice gratitude on a daily basis, whether it's something small, like, holding the door for someone, or, jotting down a few things that you were grateful for from throughout the day to give you a little bit more of that positive mindset. If you feel like you're stuck, and you just can't get out of it, try and find something to be grateful for. Those little things. Be grateful that you got to take a hot shower this morning or eat breakfast. Because sometimes it's those little things that we forget about that can actually help us move forward with the day on a more positive note. So as always, please come in and visit us. We love when we have people in the office to have groups with us and discuss these things. I love getting the feedback from people. We're always happy to have you. We're at 72 North Pearl Street in Bridgeton. You're welcome to stop in anytime. And thank you for joining me today.